Welcome to Mojave River Valley News. I'm your host, James Roberts, and on this episode, we're going to be interviewing three candidates for Victorville City Council: Bowen, LaPlante, Garcia. We'll be right back. On this show, we're going to be covering a variety of topics with the candidates. One of the main issues within the country right now is public safety and defunding the police department. Also, we're going to talk about the homeless. What can the candidates or the city do regarding the homeless? There's issues going on as it pertains to Measure P that's on the ballot this time around, the 1% sales tax to cover the public safety. It will help fire, police, code enforcement, and a variety of other issues like libraries and literacy. Welcome back, everybody. I'm James Roberts, your host. I'm sitting here with Mr. Bob Bowen, Victorville City Council candidate. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, and thank you very much for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, well, super. All right, so we're going to dive right into this. Why are you running for office?
Why am I running for office? I'm running for office because I think that our city council needs some help. What I've been seeing from them in the last years actually, has been unacceptable. I think that they're on the wrong path, and I intend to bring them on the right path.
In what capacity do you think they're on the wrong path?
Too much infighting, too much disagreement, and too much showmanship on the city council that has almost become legendary. You know,
right?
Not to say that our city council meetings, aren't entertaining. They are,
right?
But it's putting out the wrong message, and I believe that it's tainting Victorville, and that is why I'm running.
Okay.
I want to restore honor, integrity, and trust back into our city council.
And what experiences do you have, life experiences, which will allow you or bridge the gap, so to speak, within the council to bring some civility there?
To bridge the gap, well, first of all, I am a former Marine and a Bowen manager for 32 years, now retired. I worked for a large corporation. Bowen is no small corporation, and the hierarchy there is similar to city council and to the structure of our state, and all the way up into national politics.
Right.
It is relatively the same, but you have to know the issues.
Right.
You have to know what's going on, and you have to be able to look at things objectively and make that decision.
Now, how long have you lived in the city?
I have been in the city since 2018. We actually bought our house back in 2005.
Okay.
But I had to run up to Seattle for about 10 years or better, and to finish out my career, I was on the C-17 with McDonnell Douglas, and that contract wouldn't allow me to retire, so I had to go up north to Seattle. We returned in 2018.
Okay.
Retired, and that's an interesting point here, is that I moved to Victorville because I choose to.
Right.
I want to be here.
Nice. And
I love this city.
Okay, fantastic. And that's a good reason to be here and to run and serve your community. I'm asking all of the candidates that are currently running, right now in the city and in the country, there's a lot of issues regarding defunding the police. What's your position on that?
Absolutely not. I believe in law and order, and we need to keep law and order in order for us to progress forward.
Right. And have you, what's your opinion on Measure P? Are you familiar with that?
Measure P, it's an outstanding, the P stands for protection. And it is a public safety initiative that we really need to pass.
Right, and I kind of agree with that on a personal level. I don't live in the city, but I think right now, due to COVID, a lot of cities are hurting, and fiscally, they're going to have some issues going on. So when it comes to a tax, it's not a property tax, it's a sales tax. So you have it's a consumption tax, so it's something that will be good to purchase goods within the city to be able to provide protection.
It's a tax on non-essential items.
Right.
Groceries, medications, medical supplies, those are all essential. Non-essential, beer, cigarettes, clothing. Those are non-essential items. Those are the items that are going to be taxed.
Right. And as it pertains to businesses right now, do you think they're having a tough time financially?
Absolutely.
What do you think the city can do to help bridge the gap and help them out?
Well, you can promote, you can promote working and buying within the city. That is something that a lot of places do. I'm thinking about New York and areas where they support their local community.
Right.
We can do that here.
Right.
We can do that right here, but it needs to be talked about. It needs to be promoted that way.
Right. Fantastic. And one of the big topics, if you lived in the high desert for some time, roads and transportation is an issue. A lot of people have brand new cars and potholes and so forth. What's your position on infrastructure?
We need to repair our infrastructure, absolutely.
Right.
If elected, I'm going to be looking into deeply what we can do to improve our roads and conditions.
Right.
That's a no-brainer for me there. That's something important.
Another issue which is hot within the city is homeless. Measure P actually provides funding over there towards the homeless in addition to libraries and so forth. What's your position on the homeless right now and the problems?
It's a very sad affair, and it has grown, exponentially. I can't even say that word, but it has grown out of control. And we need to do something about it. However, this is not just a Victorville problem, this is a national problem.
Yes, it is.
And if there was an easy answer for the homeless, it would have been solved already. It's not an easy answer, but we need to work on it.
I want to lighten it up a little bit. I'm going to ask you a fun question.
Sure.
With you being a Victorville resident, where's one of your favorite places to hang out at?
Oh, I love to go to BJ's Brew House. You're able to sit and relax. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they got prime rib. All about that.
Right.
Hey, this is Saturday. Hey, I may have to go. No.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I wanted to lighten it up. I appreciate that. Next 30 seconds that I have left, I want you to look in that camera and let the residents of Victorville know why they should select you as their new council member. Right there.
I'm Bob Bowen, and I'm running for Victorville City Council. I have a strong passion to improve our quality of life here in Victorville. It's something that I feel very strongly about, and it's something that I want to be able to say that I am a proud citizen of Victorville.
I appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. It was a pleasure. Welcome back, everybody. I'm James Roberts, your host, and I am sitting with Mr. Roger LaPlante, Victorville City Council candidate. How are you?
Oh, very good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's a beautiful evening now.
Yes, wonderful.
All right, so let's get it in. Let's jump in this. Why are you running?
Yes, I'm running to represent. I'm a veteran.
Okay.
I'm a veterans advocate. I've been in local politics for many, many years, representing veterans.
Okay.
And I noticed that there really wasn't a lot of representation for the vets in our area. So I decided to jump in. I ran for a couple different races.
Okay.
The city council really interests me because I think that on the grassroots level and the local level, we can really help people.
Yes, sir. And how long have you been a resident of Victorville?
Oh, I've lived in Victorville for 15 of my 30 years in the high desert.
Wow. So you've seen the ups and downs and sideways of everything that's going on. Right now, with the council and the way the body is made up, what's your position on the infighting?
The infighting is really, unfortunately, disgraceful. I come from a military background, like I said before, and it was all about esprit de corps and professionalism.
Yes, sir.
And decorum and getting things done.
Yes, sir.
Getting the mission accomplished. That's not being done in the city of Victorville right now. Where unfortunately a couple of the councilors are fighting over who's going to be mayor, and it's kind of an ego contest, and that's really sad to see because the citizens of Victorville will lose because they're not spending that time to make the city of Victorville better.
And I'm assuming your military background, you feel you could bring some normalcy to the body?
Absolutely. 35 years working with the government, United States Army specifically. I retired out of Fort Irwin.
Okay.
That gave me a lot of organizational skills. I'm a pragmatic individual. I like to get things done.
Okay.
That's the bottom line, is mission accomplishment.
And right now we're at the height of the campaign season.
Yes.
You know, what are some of your main talking points right now that you're running on?
Jobs, jobs, jobs. We have had a lack of jobs here before the pandemic.
Okay.
And this unfortunately has really affected our economy in a negative way. I know a lot of people that have lost businesses, have lost hourly wage jobs, and that's something we need to prioritize to get those jobs back.
And outside of that, is there anything else pressing within the business
Yes.
community you think?
Well,
that needs to be
yeah, the
addressed?
homelessness problem. How are we going to get businesses here? How are we going to attract new residents here? How are we going to promote our area when we actually allow this? It's an emergency on our streets, and we need to correct it as soon as we can. I'm on the homelessness task force for the city of Victorville, and we've come up with some very creative solutions. They're not going to solve the problem of homelessness, but it gives the homeless people a place to go and gather the resources.
Okay, thank you for that answer.
Hey, no problem.
Got a question.
Sure.
You know, there's a lot of stuff going on within the country right now
Yes.
regarding public safety and
Yes.
defunding the police and so forth. What's your position on that locally?
I'm not a fan of defunding the police. I think we need to refund the police, reform the police. I know law and order.
Right.
I know it. I've worked around it all my life.
Okay.
We need to have law and order, and the officers of the law need to also follow our constitutional laws.
Amen. Yes, sir. What about Measure P? What's your position on that?
I'm not a big tax guy, to tell you the truth. Normally, there are other resources. I would think high administrative pays that we can maybe consolidate and gain some of that revenue that's lost.
Okay.
But taxing the people of Victorville is not the right option at this time. It's not. We're taxed enough
So
already.
implement some austerity within the system.
Yes.
To claw back some
Oh
certain
yeah.
issues.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
other places we can get that money.
Thank you. I appreciate that answer. I only got a few minutes left. What about the transportation, roads, and so forth?
That's very crucial to our area. Infrastructure, I-15. Unfortunately, we just lost the freeway coming in from Palmdale. The trains going from Apple Valley instead of Victorville. That's
Right.
a failure of our city council for not being on top of the infrastructure issues in our city. We could have had it over by
Elevado?
the park over in Old Town.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't. Apple Valley got that, the train station,
Right.
and that's vital for our area. We need those things.
Yeah, there's a lot of potholes in the city.
Evedale Park, that's what I was trying
Oh,
to say.
okay.
Evedale Park.
Well, you
That's
found
where
it.
the homeless shelter's going.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you.
I wanted to transition to something kind of fun. I've been asking the questions since you've been a resident for 15 years. What are one of your favorite places in the city to spend your time?
Oh my gosh. That would happen to be some of the local restaurants.
Okay.
We're actually Hollenberger, Apollo Burger.
Oh, Apollo.
I'm a restaurant guy. I had a
Okay.
restaurant in Barstow, and I
Okay.
love to eat. I'm losing weight now. Lost
Hey,
30
man.
pounds in the last couple
Hey, let me know
months.
what you're doing.
Keto.
Okay.
But yeah, that's one of the fun things, and it's this historic area. My mother and father came through here on a train back in the 40s. My dad was stationed in San Diego.
Wow.
Before he was deployed in the World War II in the Pacific. They came through this area.
Wow.
And I got a picture of the old station going through the Mojave Narrows, their old train going through there.
Okay.
It's just, it's memories.
Yes.
And it's something we need to bring back. The history of Old Town, the history of Victorville is something that the residents can give to the next generation.
Right. Something
that
to be
works
proud
for
of
everybody.
locally.
Yes.
Shop locally, buy locally.
Oh yeah, we need to rebuild our Old Town and the rest of the town.
In the next just 10 seconds, I wanted to jump back into public safety. Do you think there should be a civilian review board
Yes.
for the police department
Absolutely.
and so forth? You do?
Absolutely. Those things need to be run by civilians.
Okay.
In the military, we're led by civilian politicians. You know, sometimes we don't like that, but we have to accept that.
Okay.
You know, that's the chain of command. That's how it works. And so, yeah.
I appreciate that answer.
No
I
problem.
really like that. I want you to look in that camera and let the viewing audience and the voters of Victorville, please let them know why they should vote for you, sir.
Hello, Victorville. My name is Roger LaPlante, and please vote for me on November 3rd. We need to make systemic change. I'm a pragmatic guy. I know how to get things done, and mission accomplishment is top priority. Making sure that we have the lowest amount of crime in our area. We just need to help our people. It's all about the citizens of Victorville.
I appreciate you coming on the show.
All right, thank you.
All right, until next time.
All right, bye-bye.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm James Roberts, your host, and I am sitting with Ms. Gloria Garcia, current mayor of Victorville. How are you this evening?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Wow. So this is going to be your third term
Yes,
in office.
in office.
Wow. And how long have you lived in the city?
I was born and raised here in Victorville.
Okay.
My family has been here 120 years, right here in Victorville.
Wow, God bless them.
I am Victorville.
Okay, you are Victorville. Wow, and what's making you stay in the game, so to speak? Why are you running again?
I have a passion for the city. I have a passion for the people. I have a passion for everything that takes place here in our city.
Okay.
Being that I have lived here my entire life, I have never lived anywhere else. I have raised my 2 sons, my grandchildren. I have great-grandchildren now. I have a business. I have been in business 45 years right here in Victorville.
Oh, really?
Working with the community.
Okay.
Believe me, I have been in contact with everything that has happened here since the city was incorporated.
Okay. So
And-
I'm going to have to transition because I'm short on time.
Yes.
But you know, the city has been in the news a lot regarding some of the shenanigans that are taking place within the council meetings.
Yes.
What do you think needs to happen to bridge the gap, so to speak, so there's some normalcy?
I would like to be real honest about it,
Okay.
but I don't like
You don't
to.
have to name names,
Yeah.
but what's going on? I
Well-
mean, people want to know.
This is the first time in the history of Victorville that we have had a council person that has come in with so much anger, animosity towards staff, the city, everyone. Came in with an agenda that was disruptive.
Okay.
If we can get that resolved and go back to normality, that's all it takes.
Right. And right now, I'm asking all of the candidates, defund police. You know, that's a big talking point throughout the country right now. What's your position on that?
My impact on that just upsets me so terribly much. I have so much respect for our police department. I will briefly just mention I did lose my granddaughter, my son's one and only biological child, to a vicious crime, murder.
Oh.
And police were there. They were the ones that have helped us through it all.
Okay.
It took 15 years to get justice, to finally bring those people to actually
To justice?
to justice, and it has made me realize that if we do not have police, if we don't have that protection, we have nothing.
Right.
Families need to feel secure.
Yes. And while you've been in office, have you increased or decreased the census of the police department?
We have increased it.
You have increased
and with Measure P, we intend to increase at least 30 more, by
30 more officers?
Immediately, if it passes.
And what's
which
your
we're
position
hoping.
on it, on Measure
Well,
P?
Definitely I'm for it, you know,
Okay.
I'm really for it because it will enhance, you know, our ability to bring in police and firemen, and families need to feel secure, you know, so that they can actually have a better quality of life.
And I got to cut you off because I don't have too much time.
Yes.
Talking about Measure P, you know, and I was reading through it, it was public safety heavy, you know,
Yes,
but I saw some pork in there as well.
yes.
Why even on the local level, pork has to be thrown in there?
Yeah,
Why?
I have no idea why that.
Were you instrumental in bringing Measure P?
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Did you push back on the pork, on some of the line items that can be funded through Measure P?
Well, they have to. Well, I'm all for not just for police,
Okay.
for more police, more firemen, There are so many other things.
But
that
like
we need.
libraries in particular?
Yes, those are things that actually I feel that we do need for our families, you know, to have.
Okay. And while you've been in office, what are some of the, which vote have you made while serving addresses voters' concern? Not going in the future, but your past. What have you done to address those issues?
The homelessness. I was actually instrumental in meeting with Supervisor Lovingood, Jim Cox, and myself. We actually walked all through the downtown area, him and I, and we looked at all the burned down buildings. We looked at all the homelessness. We sat with Supervisor Lovingood way before it was a plan to build Desert Haven, the motel that has been constructed into a facility to house the
So that's
homeless.
one of your pride and joys?
That was one.
Okay.
And of course, we just actually voted for a grant so that we can actually build that community on D Street.
The center. I got to cut you off.
Yes.
We're at the height of the political season. What are some of your main talking points that you're running on this time around?
Public safety.
Public safety?
It has always been public safety since I first was elected in 2012.
Okay. Do you think you have a traffic issue within the city?
We do have traffic issues in the city, and hopefully that will be addressed if we do pass Measure P.
Measure P, okay.
Yes.
In regards to enforcement?
Traffic control.
Traffic control?
Traffic control.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. Homelessness with the new center, when is that supposed to open up?
If we receive the grant, we should be able to break ground sometime next year.
Okay, so maybe in a couple of years this should be open.
It shouldn't take that long because they're modular buildings.
Okay.
And they can construct those immediately.
Fantastic. Well, I only have 30 seconds left. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
Please look at the camera there
Yes.
and let the city residents of Victorville know why they should vote for you, ma'am.
Please vote for me. I will be your voice. I don't fight, but I will represent you. That's my motto. Thank you.
All right. That was great. I appreciate your time today. Is there anything else you would like to let the residents know outside of that?
Just that I love each and every one. I love our city and I love the people in our city.
Welcome back, everyone. I have Eric Swanson with me.
Yep.
You were behind the scenes. You saw the interviews. What did you think about Mr. Bowen?
Mr. Bowen, you know, he's just fairly new to the area.
Right.
But I love to see people come in and say, you know what, I'm just not moving here. I want to get more involved.
Right.
And that's really what I saw in him.
Right. And Mr. LaPlante?
Mr. LaPlante was very, very interesting because, you know, I've heard a lot of things about him in the past, different things. And you know what, he surprised me. I thought he was, he really came together much more than I thought he was.
Right.
He's got a passion here for it too.
Right. And Miss Garcia?
Mrs. Garcia, you know, she's the staple. She's like, she's lived up here forever. You know, how can you beat what she is as far as locally here?
Right.
She's been on the council for a while.
Yes. Right. And she's, was this her second or third term?
I think this is her third or maybe even her fourth. But you know, remember she lived here, family's been here 100, what?
That's right.
Over 100 years.
Yeah. That's
way,
right.
way back.
Right.
So she knows the community. She's been here a long time.
Okay.
So I think that the three candidates.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of our new videos.